Hey everypony, this is FNGR, and I'm sorry I'm a little late. Reminder that the voting begins after this video, and any analysis or review that has content of that nature from no more than 3 months old from January 19th, 2016 will be eligible. Clearly you can see the picture for the first 3 places, as well as you can go back and see the 4th through 8th. There was an extra special bonus last time for the first place winner, Keychi in her own podcast.
Oh.
Did he actually agree, or are you just chucking him in here?
Ahoy hoy.
Greetings, sir. How are you today? You just missed it. You've gave me quite a bit of fun here. I was trying to book people for Keychi, and I was looking for a third co-host right after you agreed. Oh yeah, and I just sat there and said, I'm not going to tell him that SilverQuill's there, so whoever decides to be a true friend to Keychi gets hooked up today.
Ah yes, I was waiting for someone to break into song.
That opportunity just presented itself far too
I'm gonna
swiftly.
kill you later, Anthony.
I live for that.
I'm sorry, I'm kind of dying right now.
Yeah, I've wanted to ambush somebody with somebody as big as SilverQuill. I'm glad I managed to get the chance.
Anthony,
Wait, how many SilverQuills do you have? And
No, I didn't. Well, I didn't tell her that you were. I hinted. I was like, wouldn't it be cool?
No
And then,
idea. No
yeah,
idea. The second I see her, I kind of like,
So this is happening, huh?
That's right, she didn't just get her very own King of Limbo. SilverQuill came on for her, and we'd like to say thank you, Silver, that was very magnanimous. Now, I can't always guarantee that, but there's certainly enough incentive to encourage your fans to come here if you'd like some swanky art and possibly talk to an A-lister. Please consider liking and subscribing so we can continue to grow and I can continue to keep this genre alive. Voting will conclude the 10th of January, and I would like to remind fans you are allowed to vote for anyone with content so long as it's recent enough, if it's a review or brony analysis video. That said, the channel is focused on giving these people who are underexposed a chance to shine. Again, regardless, I'll give the top 3 places the best artwork I can, and naturally offer them a show for your own viewing enjoyment. A reminder, we're keeping the 3-point scoring from last time, where you're allowed to vote on 3 different content creators, such as 3 points for Brony A, 2 points for Brony B, and 1 point for Brony C. As always, please make sure that the content is audible. No, you can't dump all 6 points on the same person. If someone has more than one channel, please tell me which one. I'm giving you plenty of time this time, so please take your time before voting, as I will disqualify you if you either edit or vote for someone whose content does not qualify. You can reach me either in the comments section or on the Twitter associated with this channel, which will be in the description. I love you guys and I hope to hear from you soon.
Antimus rolls through all of these dreams, turning various elements into horrific monsters. It could be just me, but I don't find a lot of these to be as threatening as silly. I mean, killer dresses, evil cakes, books. It's more funny rather than threatening. Given the tone they're trying to portray, this really doesn't paint the picture of danger. Granted, the main 6 are under fire because of it, so maybe it's staying within reason without being too frightening. Although I will say Rainbow Dash's dream is probably the scariest nightmare. The smiles. Never forget.
Straight into looking for a time travel spell. Oh no, now it's Tuesday morning and nothing happened. Hooray! I love Princess Celestia's delivery of this line, by the way.
Good morning, Twilight. Love the new hairstyle. Well, happy Tuesday!
Oh, Celestia, you're such a troll. Pinkie ends up finding a time travel spell, Twilight goes back in time to warn her past self not to worry too much, and the story makes its full circle. So what do I think about this episode? I love it. It has 3 characters with 3 different perspectives and 3 different ways of handling the future, and they all end up learning from each other in the end. Also, the moral of don't worry about the future too much because no matter how hard you try, it'll still come is fantastic and one everybody can relate to. Twilight is as adorable as ever, and time travel is always a fun topic to delve into as long as it's done right. While this time travel episode was simple, I definitely got it right. Looking back at the episode now, It's About Time has led up to at least 2 important plot lines in seasons 4 and 5. Spoiler alert, just in case this happens in the end of season 5. You have been warned.
Plot device that was built up to play an important role this season. This is only the 4th time we've seen it calling on our heroes for anything. What a bunch of false advertising. Fluttershy is called to the castle where Twilight informs her on a mission to the Smoky Mountains to solve a friendship problem. They arrive to find 2 families in a feud over something that happened a long time ago and can't really remember what it was. Twilight and Fluttershy try to negotiate with the 2 sides to figure out what inspired their conflict, but each failed attempt at getting them to cooperate leaves them with no answer to go by. For all the lack of impact the map has had on the season so far, I will admit that it brings upon some interesting trends with each episode, pitting two of the main six together to offer some interesting interactions as they play off each other to find a solution to the situation. And this time it's Twilight Sparkle and Fluttershy, a duo that we really haven't seen much of in the series. Oddly enough, this episode doesn't depend entirely on the two characters working off of each other, as the episode is focused on the family feud. But thankfully the writing is made out in a way that the episode doesn't need the two to interact with each other all that much, as their presence is still important to the story.
You know what always bugged me? This whole 30 moon things in Equestria Gods. No one knows how long that's supposed to be. The first thing that comes to mind when hearing someone talking about moons are months, as one moon phase on Earth is about 29.5 days long, not to mention that the word month and moon have the same etymological origin. So this assumption is quite reasonable, but doesn't make any sense in context. I just don't believe that Sunset lived for more than 2 years in the human world, or 10 years if we believe her comic origin story.
Fiction's delving into the motivations and the redemptions of said characters, too. It's said that a hero is only as good as their villain. After all, what would a hero be left to do with no villain? Well, Ganon's been beaten, but what the heck am I supposed to do now? There are countless types of villains, such as the always chaotic evil, adaptational villains, and the villains that are just so charismatic that you feel bad when they lose. And MLP certainly has its share of villains, so much so that people praise them. Granted, whichever villain you like can be subjective as all hell. There are also characters that, well, are still in the gray area of being an antagonist and a villain. While an antagonist and villain can be classified as the same thing, they aren't really synonymous with each other indefinitely. Yes, there are characters that do oppose the protagonist, but they aren't really considered villains. There are differences, and allow me to list the differences. Villains, evil, motivations, and actions that can match. Not really limited to being that of an antagonist, in fact there are villains who are actually the protagonist.
So Twilight and Spike briefly state the obvious and decide that it would be fun to watch Billy Rainbow Dash perform the Rainbow. Also, it's a bit fun to watch Twilight want to save Fluttershy out of instinct, but remembers that she can't because of time paradox! But there was no point because Starlight Glimmer interferes with the race anyway, leaving us all with this sad conclusion.
Actress from the musical, Hedwig and the Angry Inch, making her special appearance in the show. In fact, she is a brony herself, as she ended her acceptance speech for winning the Best Featured Actress in the Musical award with the words "Friendship is magic." What were your first thoughts on the news, Thespio? Were you looking forward to it?
Well, when I saw the news posted about it on EQD, I at first didn't really think much of it. Back then, Lena Hall was still a new name to me in the land of Broadway, having first heard about her in the Tony Award-winning musical Kinky Boots. But I did applaud the MLP staff for being able to recruit a Broadway-level actress to voice in the show. I'll admit I wasn't that ecstatic to see her as I was with Weird Al as Cheese Sandwich. But then again, MLP always does seem to keep surprising me, and this episode was no exception. Not only are we treated to Hall's fantastic performance as both an actress and singer, but I'm on the forefront that this is one of the best AJ episodes this season.
More than Twilight, and remembers more than Pinkie Pie. This pony has lived his entire life in the shadows of others, watching, waiting. It took embarrassing himself completely to reveal it to the world. I'm of course talking about Big Mac. Let's light the fuse. Big Mac has a memory superior to anyone on the show. This includes Cadence, who knows the name of every crystal pony in the Empire, and Pinkie Pie, who knows the names and birthdays of every pony in Ponyville. First off, there's a couple of definitions for enhanced memory we need to pin down. The type of memory I'm going to talk about today is eidetic memory, which is commonly known as photographic memory. Essentially, you can take a look at an image for a short amount of time and then recall small details about the image with heightened accuracy. Infants and children tend to exhibit photographic memory, but it tends to disappear before adulthood, and there are very few adults that claim to have this ability.
And unique among fandoms, a group of love, tolerance and charity, as well as exceptional creativity. It was easy to claim exceptionalism when we were small and more tightly knit. But bronies have always been inclusive, not exclusive. We are a welcoming fandom, and an energetic one. As we spread word of how wonderful this show is to the far reaches of the internet, people took notice. And while many reacted to what was new and different with hatred or fear, people joined the herd in droves. Now we are huge, large enough and diverse enough to put lie to the stereotypes, including the good ones that we had created for ourselves. Bronies have become legion, and in doing so, we have become a fandom like any other. But we don't have to be. Not long ago I engaged in the single least productive activity of the modern age. Arguing on the internet.
We started with Pinkie Pie and Applejack visiting Twilight's castle, saying their happy hearts-warming eve before heading out to the train station. I find this to be very interesting because it'll be their first hearts-warmings together as a whole family. Later on, we discovered that Maud Pie made a reappearance and reunited with her sister. Aww. I wish my brother was here. Then soon after, we viewed the rock farm, which has the most beautiful of decorations. Then we're introduced to the Pie family.